In this video, I will show you the steps and techniques you need to draw this dragon. I really wanted to show this with a pencil and paper, but I could not find a way to record that properly. There was no good angle where both I and my camera could see the paper. I ended up having to record a time-lapse of a digital drawing without my hands being visible. Luckily, even though I use digital media, you can still make this drawing using paper and pencil. Make sure to bring a good eraser, because there will be some sketch lines to erase. Feel free to pause the video at any time if you need a moment longer to finish drawing. Okay, the first step is to draw a circle where you want your dragon's head to be. Make sure that you draw this very light because you're going to be erasing it later. Next, draw a box-like shape for your dragon's closed jaws. This will help you position the dragon's eyes and other facial features. Now we need a line for the dragon's mouth. Add some detail to the dragon's head shape. Create some simple lines showing the arch of the dragon's neck. If it helps, you can draw some guidelines here to show you where your dragon's eye and nostrils are going to be placed. Also, here's a guideline for the underbelly plating. Draw a small circle to show you where your dragon's eye will be centered. You don't have to draw this blue dashed line, but I'm putting it here to show you how your dragon's eye should line up on its face. Add some shape to your dragon's eye. This dragon has an angry look, so its eye will be a narrow diamond shape. Draw some curved lines going down the back of your dragon's neck. These are the base for the dragon's spines. Next, connect them with gentle arc shapes. These will be the membrane for the dragon's frills. Now, we can add some detail to the dragon's face. Start by adding some ridges above the dragon's eyes. Eye ridges are like eyebrows. They give your dragon its facial expression. Next, draw the dragon's nostril. Then add a spike in between its nostrils. Why? Because it's a spike, and it's not only fashionable, but it shows the other dragons who's boss. Start erasing the original head circle. Draw a line roughly down the middle of the dragon's neck. This will be the edge of your dragon's underbelly scales. Draw the pupil of your dragon's eye. You can draw a round-shaped pupil or a slit pupil, or any other shape you like. As soon as you are happy with its shape, fill in the pupil with black except for a small white dot. This dot will be the highlight of its eye. Lightly draw some dots down the dashed line in your dragon's neck. Draw some gently curving lines down your dragon's neck, almost horizontal, and make sure they connect to the dots you just drew. While you're drawing, it's a good idea to erase any lines that are getting in your way or that you just don't need anymore. Go ahead and erase any leftover framework lines, misplaced lines, or even details that you no longer like. Remember the spines we drew down the dragon's neck? They need detail. Flesh them out with secondary lines to make them look more realistic. Keep erasing unnecessary lines as you go. Does anything look out of place? Erase and redraw it. Just make sure you draw lightly. This will save you a lot of trouble later on. The underbelly scales look kind of flat and uninteresting, so it's time to add some detail to them. Start by giving the edges of the scales some overlap. This can be kind of tricky, so pause the video and take a look at the technique I am using. Once you're done with that, add a few lines down the center of the scales to show where they fold in half on the dragon's neck. I had some messy lines down the back of the dragon's neck, so I cleaned them up a bit. If you have any messy lines in any part of your drawing, take this moment to erase them. Right now, the frill looks pretty bad where it reaches the head, so it needs some definition and detail. Separate the bottom of the membrane from the dragon's head. The spines that divide the segments of membrane are covered with the same skin as the head, so they don't need this separation. The dragon's face is the most important part of this drawing. It's where the viewer's eye is going to spend the most time. Make sure this part of your drawing is interesting by adding some detail to the spike and the edges of the mouth. Brace yourselves! This next step is a doozy. Your dragon needs a pair of regal horns and frills. I hope you were, and still are, drawing lightly. This horn is made of two slightly curving lines that I will duplicate on the other side of the head. Directly beneath the horn, draw a cluster of spines that branch out from the dragon's cheek. This is the framework for the frill. Connect those spines with segments of webbing. Once you have the frill in place, draw the cheekbone overlapping it. At this point, you will have a ton of unnecessary lines to erase. Get rid of any lines that should be invisible behind your dragon's brand new accessories. Add some detail to your dragon's horn and frill. I added the same type of lines that I gave to the dragon's nose spike. You might notice a thin, straight line cutting across my drawing soon. That was a mistake which I quickly erased. Add a second horn to your dragon's head. This one is on the opposite side of the head, so it won't be as visible as the other. Be sure to give it the same details as you gave the first horn. As soon as you've erased all unnecessary lines and are happy with your drawing, go over the drawing with dark, solid lines. Unfortunately, I can't demonstrate this step because I am not using paper and pencil. Now you can color your dragon. You don't have to. Line work by itself can be very beautiful. But for demonstration purposes, I will color mine red. I wish I could have shown this on paper, but digital painting will have to suffice. If you want to color your dragon, but you don't know where to begin, I will create a tutorial on this in the future. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned something from this tutorial, and I will see you next time. Goodbye!